And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And boy, do we have a great show for you today. You know what? I think we have a great show for you every day, but today's going to be a super special day. You know, on the show today, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses. We do that every day. And I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. But on today's show, we got a special segment that we get twice a week, and that's Sean LaFave and I. We're going to be talking about current events, travel logs, and healthcare on the Geared for Wellness corner. But before we do that, I want you to stand by for news. And before that, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're going to give you the news. We're going to encapsulate it so we can give you the top 10 things to know about. And then we're going to do a little bit more in depth, which is what I really think we needed to be doing for you anyway. But this gives us an opportunity to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in the news. Here's the 10 things to know for Thursday. Your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today and tomorrow. First up, Republicans barrel toward Super Tuesday. Trump predicts that the relative civility between Rubio and himself will fall away in the frantic grasp for hundreds of convention delegates. And Iran is holding American father and son. Family and friends say a United States citizen who is the father of a detained American in Iran has been arrested by Iranian authorities. And Nevada's GOP governor, possible Supreme Court pick. The nomination of a Republican would be seen as an attempt by Obama to break the Senate GOP blockade of any of his choices. And uncertainty surrounds the Syrian truce. Plans for a ceasefire remain shaky at best, with major questions over how it would be enforced. Well, how strongly Apple feels about the dispute with the FBI. CEO Tim Cook said he's prepared to take the fight over an encrypted iPhone to the United States Supreme Court. Go figure. You know what? I think he should. Nobody should be able to tell a company what to do. I don't care what the circumstances are. Then, Cuba escalates the battle against the Zika virus. Soldiers go door to door across the island, filling houses with mosquito-killing fog in an effort to keep the virus out of one of the last countries in the hemisphere without it. And why even Spam is being turned into a snack. Around-the-clock grazing is upending the way people eat, so companies are re-imaging foods that aren't normally seen as snacks. Well, the flu vaccine's doing a better job this year. Preliminary data suggests it's 59% effective, a big improvement from last winter in the United States when the vaccine was less than 20% effective. Makes you wonder, 59% effective, 20% effective, that means 80% of the people it's not working for them, right? Yeah. Well, which move will win the Best Picture Oscar? Which movie? The Associated Press's Lindsay Barr predicts it'll be Revenant, while fellow Associated Press film writer Jake Coyle is guessing Spotlight. Well, I can tell you, I've seen both of them, and both of them are phenomenal, but Revenant is just unbelievable. Well, finally, the NFL teams lay it on the line because it's so important to keep quarterbacks from serious injury. Offensive linemen will be as scrutinized as ever this week at the NFL Combine. Well, let's get a little bit more in depth here. Apple asks a judge to vacate an order on the locked iPhone. Apple Incorporated today asked a federal magistrate to reverse her order that the company helped the FBI hack into a locked iPhone, accusing the federal government of seeking dangerous power through the courts and of trampling on its constitutional rights. The filing represents Apple's first official response since the judge's order last week and builds upon arguments voiced by the company's chief executive and supporters. It marks the latest salvo in a court fight that could create meaningful precedent and establish new legal boundaries in the policy between national security and digital privacy. No court has ever authorized what the government now seeks. No law supports such unlimited and sweeping use of the judicial process, and the Constitution forbids it, Apple said. The Justice Department is proposing a boundless interpretation of the law that, if left unchecked, could bring disastrous repercussions, the company warned in a memo submitted to Magistrate Sherry Pym that aggressively challenges policy justifications put forward by the Obama administration. Well, you know what? Time will tell what happens. Hopefully, you know what? Our rights are going to be maintained. That's really, really what has to happen here. Let's talk about the East Coast, Midwest. They're battered by strong storm systems. Tornadoes tore through towns as far north as Pennsylvania. Heavy snow canceled hundreds of flights in the Midwest, and power outages left tens of thousands of residents from the Carolinas to New England in the dark as severe weather raked across a broad swath of the country for a third day. The storms Wednesday claimed at least a half dozen lives, 3 of them in the tiny town of Waverly, Virginia, where a 2-year-old child and 2 men ages 50 and 26 were killed during the storms, said Virginia State Police spokesman Corinne Geller. Their bodies were found about 300 yards from the mobile home. On Tuesday, a tornado that ripped through a recreational vehicle park in Louisiana left 2 people dead, and a man died of blunt force trauma when storms hit in Mississippi. At least 5 structures were damaged in the town of approximately 2,000, and roads leading into town had to be closed because of downed trees and debris tossed by winds gusting to 60 miles an hour. Excuse me. I don't know what it is about this time. I get this little tickle in my throat, and it's got to be right when I'm doing the news. Go figure. Well, here's one. The debate is another chance for Rubio and Cruz to try to slow Trump down. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz head into today's Republican debate eager to seize one last chance to slow Donald Trump's momentum before next week's Super Tuesday mega round of voting. The situation is likely more dire for Trump's rivals than they're publicly letting on. Rubio and Cruz so far have shown little willingness to take on the former reality television star when the national spotlight shines brightest. But that may well change tonight in the 9th GOP debate of the presidential campaign. The vast and overwhelming majority of Republicans do not want Donald Trump to be our nominee, Rubio told NBC, suggesting Trump is winning only because the other candidates are splitting the GOP voters who don't like him. Well, you know what? That's just hogwash. That's not what's going on. The people are voting for who they want. That is what's going on. It's just, whether you like it or not, that's just what's going on. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the AP GFK poll, doubts on Sanders' Medicare for All plan. Here's the deal. At first, many Americans like the idea of Medicare for All, a cradle-to-grave government-run health system that's a rallying cry for Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. But bring up the trade-offs from higher taxes to giving an employer coverage and support starts to shrivel here. That's the key insight from the Associated Press GFK poll released today. The survey also found that people's initial impressions of Sanders' single-payer plan are more favorable than their views of President Barack Obama's health care overhaul. A slim plurality of 39% supports replacing the private health insurance system with a single government-run, taxpayer-funded plan that would cover medical, dental, vision, and long-term care, with 33% opposed. Only 26% say they support Obama's hard-won health care law. Yet, it's only like an air kiss for Bernie care. Asked whether they would continue to support Sanders' plan if their own taxes went up, under a third or initial supporters of the plan would keep backing it. About 4 out of 10 flipped to opposition. That's 4 out of 10 is 40%, folks. So things are not as peachy as Bernie would like us to believe. And you know what? I actually have gone over. Time for me to take a short break. When I come back, I'm going to take a look at the proposed ceasefire for Syria. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, you know what? I said it, so let's do it. Let's take a look at the proposed ceasefire for Syria. The United States and Russia have agreed on a cessation of hostilities for Syria that is set to take effect at midnight tomorrow night, local Damascus time. It is the first attempt at a ceasefire in the war-torn country in years, and despite the skepticism, U.S. and Russian officials have described it as the best pathway for ending 5 years of violence that has killed more than 250,000 people and displaced another 11 million. Here's a look at the proposed deal. The aim? To achieve a reduction in violence that would allow aid operations across the country and bring the Syrian government and the opposition back to the negotiating table in Geneva for a UN-facilitated political transition process. Indirect talks, launched earlier this month, collapsed within a few days because of increased violence on the ground and a Russian-backed government offensive in Aleppo near the Turkish border. Well, what does it apply to? All combatants except the Islamic State group, Syria's Al-Qaeda branch, known as the Nusra Front, and any other militia designated as a terrorist organization by the UN Security Council. The only two other such militias are the Abdullah Azam Brigades, an armed group that has carried out joint attacks with the Nusra Front, and the Army of Immigrants and Supporters, a group affiliated with the extremists. Russia and the Syrian government and the United States-led coalition, according to the agreement, are allowed to keep on striking at the Islamic State group and the Nusra Front during the ceasefire. Well, has it been accepted? Syria's government the political opposition and rebels group, as well as the Kurds, have accepted the proposed ceasefire but reserve the right to respond to any violations. All said they would keep fighting against the extremists. The main Saudi-backed Syrian opposition group said it would give the process 2 weeks to gauge the seriousness of the other side. How about the mechanism? Well, in order to promote the implementation of the cessation of hostilities, a ceasefire task force co-chaired by the United States and Russia has been established under UN auspices. It will meet for the first time tomorrow and be chaired jointly by Russia and the United States. According to the agreement, that task force will work to delineate the territory held by IS and NURSA, ensure communications among all parties to promote compliance and resolve allegations of noncompliance. The U.S. and Russia will also establish a communication hotline to exchange relevant information after the ceasefire has gone into effect. Well, you know what? What happens? There's loopholes? Yeah, there's loopholes. And what happens if they fail in this? Well, I'll tell you what. If they fail, it's back to war, I suppose. There's nothing much else you can do about these things. All you can do is your best. The truth is, when you're dealing with the Middle East, you know what? Words don't mean much, and deals don't mean much. How about this? From UCLA, movies make dollars when half the cast is white. Well, movies make more money when exactly half their casts are non-white, according to an annual analysis released today that shows an increasing demand for diversity in film. In previous years, movies did better at the box office if 2 or 3 of the top 8 billed actors were non-white. In 2004, 4 of 8 was the magic number. Tickets sales show that. And these aren't momentary glitches. It's the handwriting on the wall, and it points to how profoundly out of touch the Motion Picture Academy is when giving Oscars only to white actors, said Darnell Hunt, who directs the Ralph J. Bunche Center for African American Studies at the University of California in Los Angeles. The Bunche Center has taken a close look at each year's top-grossing films since 2011, grouping each movie according to how many non-white actors hold the top 8 roles and calculating the median global haul of each level of diversity. Wow. Well, you know what? The best performers with a median ticket revenue of $122.2 million turned out to be movies in which half the main cast was non-white. That's more than double the $52.6 million median haul for films with no non-white actors in the top 8. Films where more than half the principal actors were non-white also did worse with the median of $52.4 million. Wow. Go figure, right? When are we going to get over this kind of stuff? When are we going to get it right? I guess that's really what I want to say. When are we going to get it right? Well, you know what? Let's finish up with this. The latest 10 airdropped UN food baskets miss the Syria target. The latest on the conflict in Syria and the provisional ceasefire proposed by the U.S. and Russia. You know what? The United Nations says nearly half the food pallets that were airdropped over the besieged parts of eastern Syria, city of Deir el-Zur, have drifted away. Today's announcement by the World Food Program came a day after the United Nations announced the first high-altitude airdrop of 21 metric tons of aid over Deir el-Zur, which is under siege from Islamic State extremists. WFP said later that on Wednesday it faced technical difficulties and indicated the drop may have been off target. Well, you know what? I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. Why the heck didn't they do a target or a practice drop before they dropped 21 tons of food? This doesn't make, what the heck? This doesn't make any sense to me at all. Well, don't go away, folks, because when we come back, we're going to do the IRS loses. You'll get more entertainment out of that. The first case is there's no penalty for an honest mistake. And I'll tell you all about that honest mistake right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And the first case up here, there's no penalty for an honest mistake. Let me tell you about it. Jorge Savoda exercised stock options to receive $75,000 of income that was taxable as wages, but he didn't understand the tax law and reported it as tax-favored capital gain. Now, when the IRS increased his tax bill, it added a 20% penalty. He protested with the tax court for some justice, and this is what the judge said. Mr. Svoboda's mistaken reporting of the income resulted from an honest misunderstanding of the law that is reasonable in light of his experience in knowledge and education. Since there was reasonable cause explaining his good faith error, the penalty is lifted. Well, think about this. $75,000, you got to figure about at least about $20,000 that would have been the tax, and that would have been a $4,000 penalty. Go figure, the IRS keeps trying. How about this? The IRS loses. They cannot collect non-payment penalties when no return was ever filed. You know what? Charles Wheeler didn't file a tax return to report his retirement income of more than $40,000. The IRS assessed tax. He filed a case in tax court, and the court decided the amount of tax that he owed. The IRS then sought penalties for non-payment of the tax and of estimated taxes. He went to court. This is what the judge said. The non-payment of tax penalty is based on the amount of tax due as shown on the return, but Wheeler hadn't filed a return. and the IRS hadn't filed a substitute return form. Similarly, the minimum estimated tax payments due are based on the prior year's return, but the IRS hadn't put one into evidence. So the penalties cannot be collected. You gotta love this stuff. You just gotta love this stuff. Here's when the IRS conceded, and you've heard me say it many times. The IRS only concedes when they're pretty sure that they can't prevail in court. Here's this case. An auditor can consider unfiled form to shift exemption for child of a divorced parent. Here's the case. When divorced parents have a child, the non-custodial parent can claim a dependency exemption for the child unless the parent with custody signs IRS Form 8332. Now, that's the release of claim to exemption for a child of divorced or separated parents, or a similar statement. Now, the IRS regulations then require that this form be attached to the return of the non-custodial parent who claims the exemption. IRS legal opinion? When parents dispute who gets the exemption, an auditor can consider a signed Form 8332 even if it wasn't properly attached to a return as evidence of who should get the exemption on the merits, with the non-custodial parent remaining eligible. Now, here's something else about that Form 8332. There's two boxes to check there. You want to be really careful. One box gives you the exemption for this year only. The other box gives you the exemption forever. So you know what? Don't do this yourself. A stupid, honest mistake, that can't be reversed. So be careful. How about this? The IRS loses a 6-hour layover make away from home expenses deductible. You know what? A ferry captain on Puget Sound, Washington worked 17-hour days on runs completed within 24 hours that included a 6-hour layover at an away-from-home port. He paid for his own meals and deducted them and other costs as away-from-home travel expenses. But the IRS disallowed the deduction, saying he was never away from home. He had used no premises or hotel room in the distant port, but only slept on the boat when necessary. So he went to court. This is what the judge said. The captain did sleep during the layovers, and the need to sleep on a trip is a test of being away from home for tax purposes. The fact that he slept on the boat, that didn't matter. So the captain qualifies for the expenses. God, don't you love it? Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. Sounds a little bit like The Twilight Zone. Now, these are not tax court cases, but these are things that the IRS does that you should be aware of when they're doing these kinds of things, because you can actually use it to your benefit, and not can, but should use these things to your benefit. The first one up is consider the statute of limitations when the IRS proposes to assess additional tax. Listen to this. The general rule is that the IRS must assess additional income tax within 3 years from the date your personal income tax return was actually filed. Now, two important exceptions to this. If you understated your gross income by more than 25%, then the IRS has 6 years to assess that tax. And if your original tax return claimed false deductions or you intentionally failed to report income, then there is no statute of limitations on the return. And so you want to be really, really, really careful about that. You know what? If you get caught in that, you know what? I lost my place because somebody was trying to attack or to get through to me. And so basically, if the original return claimed false deductions or you intentionally failed to report income, then there is no statute of limitations, which means the IRS can make you pay the extra tax, interest, and penalties whenever it catches up with you. Now, you need to fight back, though. If the IRS claims that your tax return is false or fraudulent, it is the IRS's burden to prove so. Make the IRS meet its burden by insisting, for example, that each item of income it claims that you did not report was really income and not necessarily gifts or loans and returns of capital, which are not income. and make the IRS prove that you failed to report the income fraudulently rather than because of an honest mistake on your part or an error on the part of your tax preparer. That's how you get these things done. That's how you do these things. Now, do not go away, because waiting in the wings is my good buddy Sean Lefebvre, and we're going to be doing the Geared for Wellness Corner. Sean and I are going to probably be talking about the current events, travel logs, healthcare. God only knows what we're going to talk about, but we'll both find out right after these brief messages, so don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 84 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 52 degrees. But you know what? If you're listening to us on our global syndicated network, and you're listening in New York City, it's currently 41 degrees and overcast. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, 35 degrees and overcast. But you know what? There's no overcast on this man waiting in the wings. This is he's shiny, sunshine bright. Our own Sean Lefebvre. Hey, Sean, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Robert. How are you, sir?
I am doing terrific. It's Thursday. It's only one more day to Friday.
You know, it's so weird. I have no idea why, but it feels like a Monday for some reason today, and I really can't tell you why. I literally yesterday asked Victor, my son, I said, "What's your schedule for the rest of this week?" And he said, "I just had 2 days off, so I work the rest." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's Wednesday." And then when I woke up this morning, I thought it was Monday, and I have no idea.
And so on Monday, you had no appointments, and you decided to stay in bed, except that it was Thursday, right?
Apparently, that must be. Maybe it's just this horrible weather I'm putting up with here. I mean, it's 76 degrees and clear skies. You know how that really messes with a person.
Man.
Yeah, it's hard, and I hope everyone out there listening is just
You know what? You know the sad thing is somebody has to endure that horrible weather that you've got there in Newport Beach. You know what? And it's so nice that you make that sacrifice for our 3 million plus listeners. I just don't know how to thank you.
Let me give her, no thanks necessary. It's just my part I can do for mankind.
Well, I was going to get out my violin and just play my violin for you because I felt so bad for you. And I'm guessing there's probably not a cloud in the sky and the breeze is blowing, and you're thinking to yourself, "Gosh, what I really need is a Mai Tai and a back porch."
Oh man, that would be. I don't even care about the back porch. The Mai Tai would be perfect. Yep.
Hey, listen, lots of stuff going on. I don't know if you. And we'll just kind of touch on some of it, and then we'll, because when we get past these first two segments, then we get a couple of longer segments, and so we'll just kind of play games with this a little bit. But Cuba is escalating the battle against that Zika virus. I don't know if you read this or not. Soldiers now are going door to door across the island of Cuba, filling houses with mosquito-killing fog in an effort to keep the virus out of one of the last countries in the hemisphere without it.
Oh, wow. That just can't have a good outcome.
Well, I'm thinking, if that fog is killing the mosquitoes, what is it doing to the inhabitants of those homes that they're going through?
Right. That's the funny thing is what they're saying right now is, the prevailing thought. And of course, when this first came out, I was really looking, I'm like, okay, this Zika just makes zero sense. But the prevailing thought right now, of course, I said, gosh, what a coincidence that this whole vaccine thing happened. But what they're saying is the Zika, or I should say the shrunken head syndrome, the birth defects, that all started in an area where they first began spraying for mosquitoes. It was a Monsanto mosquito repellent that they were spraying, and they're saying that they believe that is strongly linked to these birth defects, and of course, other than government officials, I don't really hear a lot of people saying this is Zika. Zika makes zero sense. Matter of fact, here's the thing that I found funny about this is I guess that they must not have put a lot of forethought into this new scare tactic. Every couple of years we get a new scare tactic, whether it's Ebola or swine flu or whatever the case might be. Mm-hmm. And of course, now it's the Zika virus. But all of a sudden, Brazil's going, oh gosh, we've got to tell people that it's okay to come for the Olympics and they shouldn't worry about Zika. I just saw, that's the new thing now. Brazil's trying to say, hey, look, you don't worry about the Zika virus. It's not going to hurt you. It's, if you come out for the Olympics, you'll be just fine. And I'm thinking, why is being a participant or a spectator of the Olympics all of a sudden make you immune from any health effects from Zika virus? Well, because the Zika virus isn't the problem, and so now they're having to backpedal a little bit, going, no, you guys should still come out and spend all your money in our country because you'll be just fine. It's not going to be a problem. So it's an interesting dynamic. They created this fear, and all of a sudden, I think they needed a new fear, and this one made sense. Babies with shrunken heads, that grabs people's attention, and they threw it out there and perpetuated it. And all of a sudden, someone went, guys, we have the Olympics coming up. Maybe this wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do right now at this time.
Well, that's an understatement.
Yeah. So now when it comes to the billions of dollars that are going to be generated by the Olympics and all of the spectators and all the tourism, Zika's not a problem. But outside of that, Cuban soldiers need to go around and fumigate your house.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this earlier in the week or not, but I found this so disturbing. And this is the latest news. 10 airdropped UN food baskets missed their Syria target. And this is the latest on the conflict in Syria and a provisional ceasefire that was proposed by the United States and Russia. The United Nations says that nearly half the food pallets that were airdropped over the besieged parts of the eastern Syrian city drifted away. Half of them. You would have thought that they would have done a practice drop, for God's sakes. You know, I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of in my life. It's like 21 metric tons of food, for Pete's sake. You wouldn't do a practice drop before you do this?
But you wouldn't even think it would. You would think as much stuff as we've dropped out of the skies over the last God knows how many decades that we'd have this figured out. We wouldn't even need to do a practice one. You push it out the back of the airplane, the parachute opens, and you know, you make sure you know what direction the wind is blowing, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to me like this isn't rocket science here. You know, we're not, you know,
yeah.
So do they have any idea? I didn't hear about this. Do they have any idea where it's just gone?
No.
Did they get the hand of the enemy, or did it go to the ocean, or they just no clue?
You know where it went. It went to the enemy.
Of course it did, yeah.
Yeah, it went to the enemy. There's no question about where it went. I don't think. You know what I'm looking. You know what I'm looking for right now is, and for some reason I can't find it. The flu shot. They said the flu shot was performing really, really well. That flu shot actually worked in 59% of the cases this year, which means that in 41% of the cases it didn't work. In last year, it only worked in 21% of the cases. So I'm sitting here thinking, you know, you and I have had this conversation about these flu shots before, right? And you got to say to yourself, well, wait a minute. I go get this shot, and I've only got a 40% chance that it's going to work.
Yep.
You know, this is
exactly. You know what? Statistically, I think that's exactly what it is over the last 10 years. I think it's been about a 40%. So this fact that, like they say, hey, it's 60% or 59%, which is close to 60, but you know, that's considered to be performing really well. It's like, imagine see if your kids came home, Dad, I got a 60% on my test. That's not.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to chain you to your desk in your room, and you're not leaving there until that 60% moves up appreciably.
Yeah, 60% effective is not. That's not doing really well. That should be a bad year. If these vaccines really do what they say they do, that should be a bad year. You know what? This year was bad. Only 59% of the people were protected, but you know, we were kind of off the mark. Next year we'll be back up to 85. If it was 85% on average, and they actually could prove it was working, I'd be like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. But
yeah, I mean, 85. You know what it is? I think, and you and I've talked about this before too, the reason it only works in 59% of the cases is because they only have a protection against 59% of the flus that are out there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's part of the reason, you know.
Well, I think that they project. There's. I don't think it's 59% of the flus. I think they only put there's 2 or 3 strands. They project what strand they think is going to be prevalent, and it's really a speculation. It's a guessing game, and sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they don't. It's kind of like the Farmer's Almanac. You know, you might open up to the page where you know it predicted the weather just perfectly, and then you know 2 weeks later the weather might be it might say blue skies and 80 degrees, and it's actually you know a torrential downpour and 50. So you know it's really kind of a weather almanac sort of thing. There is some educated guessing that goes into it, but it is still a lot of guessing.
Hey, let's talk about spam. You know what spam is? That unwanted stuff on your computer, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, I think you're going to talk about that gelatinous meat product that comes in a can.
Actually, I am, and you know what? And here's the thing: why even spam right now is being turned into a snack. You know, around the clock grazing is upending the way that people eat today. So companies are re-imaging their foods that aren't normally seen as snacks, and spam has seen a tremendous resurgence. You know, it's very popular in Hawaii. You see spam, you just see every kind of spam that there is to see. But now that they're making it into a snack food, you're seeing a resurgence of it here in the United States. I'd like to get your take on spam when we come back from this commercial message, because I know you got to have something to say about that.
Yeah, I do.
All right, we'll be right back with Sean LaFave and his Geared for Wellness Corner right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And at 3:48 p.m. Pacific time, God, it's still 84 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And I think it's still 76 degrees in Newport Beach, isn't it?
It is.
Well, yeah. You know what? And for those people that are listening to us on our global network, and they happen to be in Paris, France, well, it's 30 degrees and clear, and Rome, Italy is 50 degrees and cloudy. Now, let's talk to our spam king. I want to know, by the time you get done with this dissertation, I want to know all there is to know about the pros and cons of spam, that greasy, ugly, tasteless, cruddy. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I think about it.
I think I have an idea. Well, you know, spam is one of those interesting foods that I'm not really sure. First of all, straight out of the can, it's disgusting. I don't know how anybody can eat it straight. I don't actually know anyone who does. You can because it's already cooked, but it's gross. And there are ways that I've had it cooked that I do like it. I will say it's got to be fried, usually eaten along with other things.
You must have been comatose at the time.
Well, it's funny. It's a very. I'm actually holding a can of Spam in my hand right now.
Oh no! I don't believe it.
Yeah. There is Spam in my house.
I am never coming to your house for dinner. I want you to know that.
However, it's not my Spam.
Victor got it right.
Well, actually, no. It was we've got kind of without getting into the whole story of how this happened, but had a buddy of his who really needed a place to live. His dad came down with cancer and wasn't able to pay the rent on his college dorm and so on. And so this kid moved in with us. He was 21 years old, and so he's Filipino. And then after that happened, another friend of theirs, a mutual friend of both of Victor and this kid's name is Mark, by the way, who is Taiwanese. He ended up moving in with us. So now I've got two 20-year-old Asian guys, and then my son who's 20, and then myself living in our place right now. And so, but Spam, like you said, it's popular in Hawaii, but it's very popular among Asians. And so we tend to almost always have Spam in our house, and the guy whose family is from Taiwan, he loves to cook with it. He makes stir fried rice and a lot of things. It's he cooks very Asian food, and so he makes Spam stir fried rice. And I will say, it's actually kind of delicious.
You know what? It might be better if you had that fried Spam with biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, well, that's the way I've had it before, where if you slice it up and you fry it, and then you've got like some other stuff with it, like eggs, and you maybe make a sandwich or something out of it, it's actually not too bad. But
so here's the deal. Here's the deal, Sean. If you've got to do a makeover to that much to make this stuff be palatable, throw it away.
Well, yeah, exactly, and it's it's parts and pieces. I would say, in big picture, it's worse than eating hot dogs, and hot dogs are horrible for you. But the ingredient list on this thing is pretty small. It's the first ingredient is pork with ham, which I guess they want you to know that not all of it are just excess leftover kind of spare parts.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Pork with ham. I thought ham was pork.
Well, ham is pork, and I think that they're trying to be a little bit more specific because the rest of the pork products in here are probably not stuff that you really actually want to eat if you knew what they were.
You probably don't even want to know where they came from, huh?
Yeah, they may not even have a body part to assign these things to, So that's the first one. First, there's pork in there, and then salt, and then there's water, modified potato starch, sugar, and then sodium nitrite.
Hey, you know what, Sean? I changed my mind. I don't care about the Spam. This is not doing anything for my appetite.
Mine neither. I can tell you that this stuff is. If you have if you're in a survival situation and you need something to eat Spam. Otherwise, the sodium levels in this stuff alone, you'll retain water for like 2 weeks after you eat.
You know how Spam came about, right?
I don't.
Spam was created for our soldiers in World War I. And that's what they were using before they had K rations. And they'd open up a can of Spam, and like you said, they'd eat it right out of the can.
Oh, I've known people. In fact, Victor, gosh, this was years ago. He went on with his church. He went on like a missions trip, if you will. Mm-hmm. I think he was 14 years old or something like that, and they ended up in some Native American Indian reservation in New Mexico. And he said every morning for breakfast they had Spam and potatoes.
And then you would immediately get on your knees and start praying that it didn't have an adverse effect one way or the other, right?
Exactly. And he said the funny thing was the potatoes tasted worse than the Spam did. And and then for lunch, and that's what kills me. This was when we think of Native American Indians, go back a couple hundred years, before, as everyone loves to talk about, the white man did this and the white man did that. But this was they were a proud people who hunted and gathered, and they lived off the land, and now he goes to this reservation. They're eating spam and potatoes for breakfast. He goes, that was every day, and he goes every day for lunch. They took a big pot of boiling water, and they literally opened up individual packets of ramen noodles and just threw all these ramen noodles in there until they had enough for everybody. And that was what they had for lunch with it. I think there was something else that went along with it, but
I think I'm getting indigestion, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing to think, like, how did we gave them land. I say that we gave them land. I know there's a lot of people that jump down my throat and say, well, we stole the land from them in the first place, But so they've got land to do whatever they want with it. Why don't they still hunt like they used to? Like if you're dependent, if you got to eat, if someone says, Sean, you've got this many square miles to live on, you can eat spam all you want. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go make a spear and kill a deer, or give me a gun or something. I'm going to go kill something and eat it before I eat spam.
Yeah, absolutely. So, matter of fact, I might even kill you before I'd eat the damn spam.
Yeah.
But before so let's get off of that, because we're going to
remind me that I go camping with you.
We're going to go on a commercial message in a couple of minutes. Before we do that, I want to get your take on something. Obama on his short list for the Supreme Court justice is Nevada's GOP governor, and he's a moderate Republican and he's a governor, and I'm sure that the hopes of this are, one, not going to be totally acceptable to the liberal side. Should be acceptable to the conservative side. But you know what? I wonder if this is going to make McConnell have to change his mind about vetting this person or putting some person up. Or what are your thoughts about Obama nominating a moderate Republican for the court?
I think we talked about this before, that I think that it would be awesome if he nominated someone who was moderate. I think then we would have a new, Supreme Court justice before Obama's, term was over. I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah, I do.
If it was something that everybody could agree on, I think it would be wonderful. I don't really, like you said, I don't want someone who's too conservative, but I don't want someone who's too liberal either. And I think that's the big fear that a lot of conservatives had, is that he was going to find the most liberal person he could and appoint that, or nominate that person.
Well, it seems to me. I'm not an Obama lover, but it seems to me that he's reaching out. And if the Republicans don't actually meet him halfway here, this could really turn around and bite him in the butt.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. And the funny thing is, Obama tweeted, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he sent out this thing about, basically, hashtag do your job or go to work or something like that. I think it was hashtag do your job. And he was saying, let your senator know that they need to follow through, this nominee for the new, Supreme Court justice. And I thought, what? I agree with him. I think everybody does need to do their job, but it's such a hypocritical thing for him to do, because he helped filibuster when George Bush had it was more than a year left in office. There was.
Well, but hold that thought, because we're already a minute past time to do our commercial break. Let me do the commercial break. Let's come back and talk some more about this, because you and I are gonna. This is finally we found something that we're a little bit opposed on this issue. So we'll talk about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Sean LaFave. It is Geared for Wellness Corner. So, Sean, I kind of interrupted you, and I'd like you to go back to the beginning of your thoughts with regard to the fact that Obama was presenting a moderate or centrist Republican government to fill Antonin Scalia's spot on the Supreme Court. And because I know you and I agree that that's a good thing to do, I think. However, you were starting to make a comment about Obama and in an analogy between him and George Bush, and I want you to go back to that because that's where you and I are going to have a differing opinion.
Okay, and I will preface this with there's a slight difference between what's going on now with the Republicans and what happened back in, what was it, 2000?
Don't even go there.
But there is a slight difference. However, I still stand by what I'm going to say. And that is that, Barack Obama was involved in this, Joe Biden was involved with this, John Kerry, Kennedy, there was a very long list of Democrats that said, President, in fact, Schumer is quoted as saying that, Bush shouldn't get to pick any more Supreme Court justices at all, and that they should not confirm any Bush nominees from the Supreme Court except in extraordinary cases.
Stop for a second.
I'm stopping.
Does the President of the United States have the authority to nominate a Supreme Court justice, or does he not? Just a yes or no. Just a yes. Yes, he does. And is the term of a United States president 4 years, or is it 3 years?
It's 4 years.
It's 4 years.
I'm tracking with you.
Okay, so no matter what they may have done in the past, that does not mean that the current president does not have the authority and the right and the obligation to fill such a critical spot on the court. And so that's where you and I kind of differ. I don't care what they did in the past, whatever they wanted to do.
I never said that he doesn't have the right to do it. I said that last time we talked about it. He absolutely has the right, and I think he should, and I think we should go through due process. But what I find disturbing about this is that the Republicans immediately. I mean, he wasn't even dead 24 hours, and the Republicans jumped on this, which was uncool. They should have at least let him at least bury him first before you go off on your political crap. So the Republicans were very wrong, and I admit that. But the Democrats came out and said, this is ridiculous. They're going to try to stop this. Obama's got a year left to go. Whatever, so almost a year left. And it's his responsibility, and it's his right, and it's his duty. It's like you all tried to stop Bush from doing the exact same thing, and you said that he should not be allowed
But that didn't make it right then, and it doesn't make it right now.
I know it doesn't make it right now. It didn't make it right or wrong either way.
No.
But but what it does is you can't play this game and then call foul when someone else plays the exact same game.
No, but but this is where I'm calling foul. I'm calling foul when Mitch McConnell says, "I don't care who you put up, Mr. Black President Obama. We are not going to hear it. We're not going to put it in committee. We're not going to put it on the floor. We're not going to vote on it, no matter how overly qualified this person is." And now Obama actually reaches out with a centrist Republican governor. And what are they going to do? They're going to step on their own tongues is what they're going to do.
But yeah, and you're right. I agree with you. If they don't follow through, and if this person is an acceptable nominee, they should make sure this person gets appointed.
How do you think how do you think the Democratic Party is going to react to Obama reaching out to Republicans with a Republican nominee?
You see, yeah, and I agree with you. And I think it's horrible that no matter who he nominates, you know, someone on both sides is going to complain. Democrats say this person is too conservative. Republicans say he's too, liberal, and on and on. And that's the problem with this process is that, and maybe that's part of McConnell's thing. And Schumer was saying the same. Schumer really didn't say a whole lot different. Mm-hmm. I mean, his exact quote was, "We should not confirm any Bush nominee to the Supreme Court except in extraordinary circumstances."
Yeah, but Schumer's an idiot. He's got his head stuck up in the sand.
Maybe so.
But you know what? I don't get up every morning wondering what Schumer is going to say about today's events. I don't really care. What I really care about is I don't care if the nominee is a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, a purple people eater. All I care about is this person the most qualified person available to fill that spot? I want somebody who is going to make a determination based on the text of the Constitution. And this guy is a middle of the road guy. He's somebody that Obama's reaching out to the Republican side to say, "Hey, look, I don't want to have a problem. I do want to have a full court."
And I agree with you, and I think that's and I have not read up on this nominee, but just taking you at your word, if he's as middle of the road as you say, it sounds like Obama's doing, one, the right thing, and two, he's given the Republicans enough rope to hang themselves if they don't play nice.
Well, I listen to just about every pundit program that there is. I mean, I listen to them all because I want to be well read when it comes time to make an opinion. And the truth is that what I'm telling you is not something I know to be for certain, but something I have heard from every political pundit, whether they be on the left or the right, no matter what their station programs are, they all seem to be saying the same thing about this nomination. The one thing that I am never going to understand, even if Obama were to pick a far left person, he has the right, he has the authority, he has the obligation to do it. And what the Senate has the obligation to do is advise and consent. They have the obligation to vet this person, to talk to them, to interview them, and then they have the obligation to vote. And if they don't like this person, vote him down. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do. So when Obama says, "I'm going to do my job and I expect you to do yours,"
Nope, I'm totally in agreement with you on this.
I don't want you to be in agreement with me.
I know you want to argue so much.
Yes. This show's no damn fun if we agree on everything.
Well, let's talk about vaccinations, Kevin. Wait, we did, and we agreed on that one too.
This show's a lot more fun when we have oppositions going on. And actually, the truth is what a lot of times what I'll do, because I love going into a dialogue with you. One of the things that I love to do is I'll try and bait you, and I'll figure out, okay, I want to see where he's coming from, and then I'm gonna go around the corner and take the other side. But generally, you just don't let me get away with it, and it sucks. Anyway. So
I'm gonna follow this, and hopefully we'll see it, and I hope if well, if Obama is genuinely doing the right thing here, I hope that the Republicans do the right thing, and I would love to see the two sides come together. You know, I wonder if this guy is you know, senator as you say he is. I wonder if the or if the Democrats are going to be the ones to derail this. You know, I'm really curious where it's going to go. I am going to follow it for sure.
Good. You know what? And I got to tell you something else that's driving me crazy, and I don't know if it is you or not. You know what? I am a conservative. I call myself a conservative now because it's getting to be very, very difficult to call myself a Republican. It's embarrassing. Yeah. It's embarrassing what these people are doing. And I'll tell you what, and if I could vote in the primary like they do in some of these other states, as an independent, I'd be an independent. I wouldn't be a Republican or a Democrat. But I don't want to give up my opportunity to vote at a primary. But one of the things that's also driving me nuts about the Republican Party, you've got Donald Trump that's out there just sweeping up everything. He would have also won Ohio if it hadn't been for Cruz's dirty tricks. But the truth is, he is out there winning. He's winning big. He's got a lot of support. And I'm hearing the Republican establishment trying to figure out any way they can stop this guy. Well, you know what? Why stop him? If that's who the people want, whether you like him or you don't like him, people want change. People are tired of the establishment. They want somebody that's going to go in there and excuse the expression, but I won't use that expression. They want somebody who's going to clean house, get things done. And I think a businessman is the person to do that with. I've sent you some text the last couple of days and things that have been floating around, and most of it deals with the fact that he's a pragmatist. He is not a politician. Yeah. He sees a problem.
I read that article.
Yeah. He sees a problem, and his obligation is to fix the problem, not to figure out what the Republicans will do or what the Democrats will do. What is the solution to the problem? You know what? We need somebody who's going to solve problems. We haven't got anybody yet.
Right, and I agree. And I think that the whole thing with the Republicans, trying to derail him, which just absolutely boggles my mind, is instead of them standing up and going, okay, you know what, the people have spoken, and that's who we're supposed to be representing, instead of going, okay, why is Donald Trump so popular? What are we doing wrong? And what have we done wrong for so long that the people are being pulled to this guy that everybody thinks is an extreme whack job? Not everybody, but
I think
liberals definitely do. And then a lot of the Republicans are saying this guy's crazy, but the American people are going, no, we like him.
Yeah,
this is what our country needs, because we're tired of, we may not like everything he says, but at least he's not going to come right out. And, when you ask Donald Trump a question, he doesn't give you a political answer. He doesn't give you this question where you walk away with this real ambiguous kind of response where you go, I'm not even sure you answered the question. He answered the question. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. I think that's what draws people to him is his straightforwardness.
Well, yeah, and the facts of it are, you hear, the Republicans don't like him. Well, then why are they voting for him if they don't like him? It's the establishment that doesn't like him. They want the good old boy network to stay intact in Washington, D.C. The truth is, what I'm hearing and reading about is a lot of Democrats are crossing over because they're saying, hey, I like Trump. If my choice is going to be Hillary or Bernie or Trump, I'm going to go to Trump. You know what? And you're seeing Republicans do the same thing. We are seeing an absolute uprising in the Republican Party for people that are showing up at the polls, but we're not seeing it from the Democratic Party. These people are not even meeting last year's numbers. People are not getting involved on the Democratic side. It seems to me that what the people of the United States want, they don't care who, how, where, when, or why. They want change.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we voted for change 8 years or 7 years ago, and
we got it. Nothing. Yeah,
and the change we got, everyone's going, this really didn't work out as well as we thought it would.
Yeah,
and I'm one of those people. I was actually very optimistic. I honestly, genuinely thought that Barack Obama was going to do far better things with this country than he's done.
Well, I did too. Until Mitch McConnell said that we're going to make sure that this is a one-term president. We're going to make sure that nothing he wants to get done gets done. The truth is, whether you like what he wanted to do or you don't like what he wanted to do, the truth is, if he had been able to do it, then we either would have had change we liked or change we didn't like, but at least something would have happened instead of this lackluster, do-nothing Congress that we've got today.
Right, and that is the problem. Is what we need is and I was having this conversation with a friend, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. And he's a very solid, liberal Democrat. And he's like, come to the dark side, come over to our side. And, we have cookies. But, and I said, the problem is I don't like the two biggest nominees on your side right now. I don't like your candidates. Yeah. And I said, the reason I don't like them is I want somebody in office who will bring the two sides together. I thought maybe Barack Obama would do that. He didn't. No. Maybe it's his fault. Maybe it's not. Everyone loves the race card that they're doing because he's a racist. I don't think they're doing it.
Well, I think there's plenty of blame. I think there's plenty of blame to go on both sides. But I'll tell you the other thing that I believe in. One of the problems with Obama was that he was a first-year senator, just like Rubio and Cruz and these guys. And I think there should be a change to qualifications for a president. I think that if you're going to run for president, you have to have served as a governor because you need to have that chief executive experience. You can't be some guy that just decides to vote one way or another on a bill. You got to be somebody who actually makes a decision and has his feet held to the fire for it.
Right, and I agree with you absolutely. So it's
I told you I don't want you to agree with me, Sean.
Well, I can't actually agree with you because if I did agree with you, then I wouldn't be able to vote for Donald Trump because he's never held office at all for anything. But he's the kind of guy who knows how to make a decision. Yeah. Anybody knows how to, and that's the thing that in fact, someone posted this video. Some Donald Trump was having a rally. He has the biggest of them all. He has the most people show up, far more than Clinton or Bernie or Cruz or any of them. And of course he started talking about food stamps, and this guy stands up and starts yelling at him. Well, you can't do that at a rally. You're going to be removed, whether it's a Clinton rally or Trump rally or Bernie Sanders. Security's going to take you out. That's just the way it works. Yeah. Well, as he was leaving, Donald Trump makes a statement. He goes, right after I started talking about food stamps, this guy who's severely overweight all of a sudden starts yelling at me. Now, of course, he was just trying to make a fun mockery out of it. He's gonna take a jab at the guy, which you got to kind of expect that. But then someone posted this video on Facebook and said that Donald Trump called this guy fat.
And I said. He probably was,
but the thing was, if you saw the guy, he was fat. I mean, but Donald Trump didn't call him fat. He said that he was overweight, and there's a huge difference in our society on how those words are perceived. Yes. If I said, hey, my friend is, I really, needs to make some changes. He's overweight. I'm concerned about his health. That's what. But if I said, this guy, man, I tell you what, he's really fat.
Fat and obese are synonymous, I think.
Yeah. So they make it sound like, he just decided, you fat pig. I'm surprised they didn't say that he called him a fat pig like they did with Rosie O'Donnell. He called her a pig.
Well, you know what? He was telling the truth then too.
Yeah, he was telling the truth then too. He called Rosie O'Donnell a pig, and someone said to him, "Did you call her a fat pig?" And he goes, "No, I didn't call her a fat pig." And it was funny because he was being interviewed, and I can't remember the woman that was interviewing him, but she was a very prominent news reporter, and she said, "Did you called Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig?" He said, "No, I called her a pig. I didn't call her a fat pig." He goes, but since you brought it up, he goes, "Is Rosie O'Donnell fat?" And he threw it back on the reporter, and she said, "I'm not going to answer." He goes, "Well, why not? It's just a simple question, But even she wasn't. No one likes the word fat, and so what they're and they're saying that he's a racist because he wants to build a wall. Well, if you listen to what he's saying, he says, "I'm going to build the best wall you've ever seen." Yeah. And then he says, "But there's going to be a great big fat door in it for people to come through legally as much as they want." And people kind of omit that part. Yeah. And I'm sure the Republicans, the conservatives do it when Hillary Clinton says something. I've seen, and I've gone on Facebook. Friends of mine will post videos of Obama saying something, and then I will comment and I'll go, "Look, you know what? Watch the entire video. Don't take these little snippets because this was spliced together to make it sound like he's saying something he's not saying. You need to do your homework before you post stuff like this." fact check it.
Okay, so hey, listen, we got 20 seconds for our break, and I want to leave you with this. You know what? That twice a week I'm on the on a simulcast with the Conservative Syndicate. These people are far hard right wing Tea Party people, and the biggest argument we have, and I love it because we have these arguments all the time, and that is they want to continually they blame. If it's foggy outside, it's Obama's fault. If the air is a little smoggy, it's Obama's fault. If they trip and fell, it's Obama's fault. And what I keep telling them is, you know what? I refuse to sit here and castigate Obama about everything. I don't care about the stuff that he did that's his fault. What I care about is what are you going to do to fix it? Yeah. Let's talk about that when we come back from this commercial break. We'll be right back with Sean LaFave and his Geared for Wellness Corner.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:23 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 83 degrees. It's dropped 1 degree. What do you think about that? It's on its way to 50 degrees. If you're listening to us on our global network and you're in Tokyo, Japan, it's 43 degrees and clear. And if you're in Sydney, Australia, 77 degrees and mostly cloudy. But I'll tell you somebody whose mind is not cloudy. That's my good buddy Sean LaFave. I'm thinking I'm going to get some super glue and glue this man to his microphone. I just don't want you to leave. I'm loving this, buddy.
Well, it's still 75. We haven't started cooling down yet. You saw the hot air coming out of me during this radio show.
No, you know what? The truth is I keep trying to spark furor in you, and basically the problem is that you and I seem to agree on most things all the time. So it's hard.
Is that a terrible problem?
It's hard to keep the heat going, you know. So anyway,
what were we going to get back to? I can't remember where we were.
Actually, we were talking about, everybody has this tendency to blame Obama for everything. And a lot of the stuff is probably his fault. But the truth is, you know what? He's got 10 months left in office. I'm tired of castigating the president of the United States. He is the president, whether you like it or not. He's got a tremendous job to do. He's done some good things. He's done some bad things. He's done things that we like and things we don't like. But he is our president. I'm tired of castigating this guy. We've been doing it for 7 years. What I'm really interested in now is we have 7 people that are running for that office. I want each one of them to tell me, what the heck are you going to do? Don't tell me I'm going to have the greatest America. Don't tell me you're going to make America great again. I think it's still great. Tell me, how are you going to change it? Give me some specifics. Don't tell me it's going to be. Tell me how it's going to be.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably one of the biggest problems we have. And of course, I don't know if this has probably always been an issue, and I don't know that if it's maybe the social media has just perpetuated it and magnified it and made it worse. But I can just I think back to when Bush was president and all the hatred and vile things that were spewed about him and how he was blamed for this, and now the right is doing it to Obama and the left is going, it's horrible for you to say things like that. It's like, well, you guys said stuff like that about Bush, so it's really no different. But I don't know that it was like that with Clinton or with the first Bush, and certainly not with Reagan.
The only thing I remember about Clinton, because Clinton was a really good president. He got a lot of things done. We had a surplus, we had all the things, but I really kind of disagreed with his choice of cigar humidors.
Well, yeah. He could have chosen a little more wisely, that's for sure.
But you know what? But you're right. I think that the country has evolved, and I think that whether you like the president or you don't like the president, we have to remember that we call him Mr. President so that we get the personalities out of there, and we're talking and referring to the office, and we have to have respect for the office, if not the man. And so, we sit here and we've got 340 million people in this country that really rely on this guy not to use bad judgments that would destroy the entire world. That's a big obligation to have. And you know what? I mean, there's a whole litany of things that he's done that have been magnificent and terrific. And there's also another list that goes the other way too. But you know what? He'll write his memoirs. He'll have his presidential library. He'll have everything going. What I'm really interested in now is, since we are not even going to have to be thinking about him for a third term, because there is no third term, I want to be thinking about what the new guy is going to do. I want to have some assurances. I don't want to, you know what, you said it, I think you said it was you, I'm not sure, that Obama made all these promises and promises and promises. The truth is that the Congress, and including the Senate, made it very obvious that they were going to make it near impossible for him to fulfill any of his promises. But the other truth is, everybody makes promises, whether it be Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. All of them make promises that there is no way on this earth that they can keep.
And that's a big part of the problem. Yeah. And I think this right now, especially this generation, but even it's tending to span into a lot of different generations right now. That we watch the election through social media, it's very interesting how social media has changed everything. It's almost impossible to do business nowadays if you're not on social media.
Well, yeah, but the other thing there's, Sean, and I'm so glad you brought that up. When you read something in the paper, or you hear something on television or on the radio, or you see it on social media, right? Everybody thinks that means it's the truth. That doesn't mean it's the truth. Very little truth out there. That's why a person has to look at everything and listen to everybody to try and discern where the truth is, which is probably somewhere in the middle there somewhere. My dad used to say it all the time. I don't know who actually I should credit with this, but my dad used to say it all the time. You know what? Don't trust anything you hear and only half of what you see.
Yep, and that's unfortunately that's the truth. You can hopefully believe what you read in a credible newspaper, but even that, they're going to tell you the side that they want to tell you. It might be the truth, but they may leave out parts of the truth, so that it sounds to give it their viewpoint. Yeah. But you see stuff on social media, and some of it's just flat out outright lies. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And what I see more on Facebook or Twitter, on social media in general, is I see what a horrible person. I can't believe this person said this. He's going to destroy the country. I don't really see a lot of this is why I believe in Hillary Clinton, or this is why I believe in Donald Trump or Cruz. Every now and then I'll see those, but it's one out of maybe 10 things that you see on social media. The other 9 are, this person's going to destroy the country, and it can be. It's this negativity that just gets perpetuated, and it's kind of scary, because I wish there was a way to turn this country around, to get us back to where we would sit around the table and actually talk and be able to look at each other, because it's really hard, to look in someone's eyes and treat that person horribly. Yeah. As opposed to on Facebook, you can say, "Oh, you're a jerk." I mean, the people, they'll come right out and they'll just say, if you're a supporter of Donald Trump, you're just a bigoted piece of shit, blah blah blah. And they'll tell you, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you almost said.
yeah. But I mean, those are that's actually what they say. Yeah. They'll see what. I mean, you're reading this and you're going, this person, I know this person, and I've talked to this person face to face. This person would never say this to me, to my face, ever.
No, they wouldn't. This is a good person. And I think that you actually lead into another area, and that is I honestly think that the reason that you're seeing Trump, the activity around Trump and what's going on around Trump, and also Bernie Sanders for that matter, if you think about it, is that people are disgusted with their representatives in Washington, D.C. They're disgusted with the way this government is being run right now, and they want some dramatic change. And I think that what we're going to see, this is just the tip of the iceberg here. I think that what you're going to see is some real changes in who sits in those seats in Washington, D.C., because the people are disgusted and they're fed up.
They are. It's funny. This friend of mine that I was telling you about, that I had a conversation with earlier, says come to the left side, come over here and join us, he actually said, I said, I wish that we had somebody who would unite the two sides. And I said, I don't see even Trump. I mean, clearly not Trump. I don't see him as the great bringer together. I think he's a great negotiator, but I don't think that he's going to bring the side. But I said, the one person of all the ones out there that I think could possibly do it is probably, unfortunately, Bernie Sanders.
Yes. But Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump are not that far apart when you think about it. I was watching this commercial that Marco Rubio had out, and he says, what Trump says, he's going to hire the best and the most knowledgeable and the smartest people. You know what? I want somebody that can make a decision. And I'm thinking, now this is the same guy that had that 20-second elevator speech that he kept repeating that was written for him by somebody else. You know what? I want the President of the United States to have the most intelligent counselors that are available out there to give him input, so then he can make an informed decision. I believe in that.
Yeah, I believe in that too, and you're right. There's a lot of similarities. Matter of fact, someone even described Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump and said, "There's a candidate who believes in this and who believes in that," and on and on. And she went through a long list, and she said, "Who is that?" He goes, "Well, it's Donald Trump." "It's me, of course." He goes, "No, I'm describing Bernie Sanders." He said, "Oh, okay, great." which there are a lot of similarities. Now, their approach on how to get to what they believe needs to be done is very different.
Yeah.
For sure, and I think my biggest thing that I have a hard time wrapping my mind around with Bernie Sanders is the word socialism.
Yeah.
And then of course he just doesn't come across as, sometimes when he gets angry, you kind of learn you love the guy, because when he gets angry, he gets really, you can just see him get all peppy and he gets a little bit more authoritative. But when he's just talking, he's like listening to your grandpa. He doesn't sound very, he doesn't sound like the kind of guy that's going to come out and just take names and kick butt.
What? I'll say the thing. I mean, Bernie Sanders is not going to get my vote. Well, you know what? If it were him and Hillary Clinton, and those I would vote for him. But here's the thing that I have to say about Bernie Sanders: you don't have to wonder about what it is he's thinking about. Whether he calls himself a socialist, he's not hiding from any of this stuff. And so, you know what? You've got to respect a guy that tells it the way he feels it, tells it the way it is. He's not running away from anything, where most of these other politicians, they change their mind with the wind every morning, for Pete's sake. You know what?
And that goes.
It just seems to me that I'm tired of that kind of complacency. I think it's refreshing that a 74-year-old or 75-year-old man who's sitting out there says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to paint you a rosy picture. I'm going to tell you how I feel. If you agree with the way I feel, you know what? Give me your vote.
And I think that goes back to why I think that's why he's doing so well. Also, to think that a socialist, someone who says yes, I'm a socialist, would actually do well ever in this country boggles my mind. Yeah. But it goes back to the exact same thing I said about Trump. He just tells you what's on his mind. He doesn't give you the politically correct answer. It's nothing ambiguous about what he has to say. Yeah, we may not agree with him, and we wonder where all these trillions of dollars are going to come from to give everybody all the free stuff that he's promising. But at least he's not leaving you wondering, is he really going to, what is he thinking on this issue? He does not ever give you that ambiguous answer, at least not that I usually see.
Well, here's the thing that I hope. I sincerely hope that Trump is the nominee. I sincerely hope that Trump winds up in the White House. And this is why. We have a Republican majority in the Congress. We have a Republican majority in the Senate. And if we now have a Republican in the White House, there is a much better chance that we can get some things done than the balance of power that actually is imbalanced by having, Democrats on one side, Republicans on the other side, and then, and you have all these different offices of the government, and nobody agrees on anything. They just fight and nothing gets done. I'm just so tired of that.
Yeah, and I think as difficult as it's been for Obama to get things done, I think that the Republicans will be much harder on Hillary Clinton. They'll just say they despise her.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And of course, if that happens, then the left will just say, well, they're just doing it because she's a woman. That's the only reason.
You know what? I got to tell you something. I think voting for Hillary Clinton because she is a woman is the sorriest, worst reason of all.
Yeah, it's as bad as voting for Barack Obama because he's black.
Yes, absolutely.
And to not vote for someone, for the same reasons is horrible too. You should go off of the merits of their actions, their background, their accomplishments, of what they say they're going to do. And to vote for somebody because of skin color or sex or religion. I mean, I remember when was it Mitt Romney? Is he the one that's the Mormon?
Yes.
Yeah, remember everyone was like, "Oh, are we ready to have a Mormon president?" It's like he's a white male conservative, but he's not a traditional Christian. He's a Mormon. I mean, that was a big deal. Anything that's different, we're all freaked out about it, and that's no reason to not vote for Mitt. There's a lot of reasons to not vote for Mitt Romney, but that's not a good one.
But they're ready to put a Jew in the White House.
Oh yeah! Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, my friend, we're I can't believe we've gone through it. God, I hate to say goodbye, but what are we going to talk about on Tuesday?
We were supposed to talk about
we blew it.
Road rage and stuff. Remember,
we blew it, didn't we?
We blew way past that. Yeah.
How the heck? Why do I let you do this to me?
Well, we were on roll. I wasn't gonna. I can always talk about. In fact, it was kind of a lot of what I want to talk about is right up the alley of you know, what we talked about today anyway. So it'll roll into Tuesday. Gosh, today's Thursday. Like I told you, today does not feel like a Thursday to me. So,
well, you know what? Go back to bed and think on it, and then when you wake up, it'll be Monday.
Yeah, you know what? It probably will.
All right, buddy. Hey, this has been I just loved it. This is probably, I think this is probably the best show I've ever done, or we've ever done. I think it's just fantastic. Go out, make it a great evening. Go out and celebrate. Get away from those two kids that are bad influence on you, if they're going to make you eat Spam anyway. And you know what? Make everybody happy, make everybody safe, and make everybody glad that you're in their life. Will you?
Yeah, same to you, Robert. Thank you.
All right. You take care, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday. The rest of you, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about... oh, excuse me, I'm coughing already. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:43 p.m. Pacific time. It's starting to go down a little bit. It's 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It was 89. It's on its way to 51 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our global network, if you're in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 77 degrees and clear. And if you're in Hong Kong, it's 54 degrees and overcast. And you know what? I'm just loving this stuff. But you know what time it is now? It's time for our Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is become a better learner. Yeah, you know what? You never learn enough. Staying within your comfort zone is a good way to prepare for today, but a terrible way to prepare for tomorrow. To sustain success, you must develop the capacity for rapid, continuous learning. Enlisting a coach can be an invincible way to do it, but if you don't have a coach, ask some colleagues for feedback on how you performed on a recent task. Don't get defensive when you hear their answers. Remind yourself that you're trying to learn new things. Then make time for reflection. Get into the habit of asking yourself questions like, what have I learned from this experience, and what turned out differently than I expected? Leaders who demonstrate and encourage reflection both learn more themselves and lay the foundation for higher levels of learning agility in their teams and their organizations. I'm telling you, you can never learn enough. At least that's my opinion. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. You've heard me talk about it. It's all about a positive mental attitude. I'm convinced that you're in control of everything about you. You decide whether you're going to be rich or poor, you're going to be success or a failure, whether you're going to be healthy or ill, happy or sad. You really decide that, and you decide it every single morning. It's all about having a positive mental attitude, and then it's sort of like a virus. It spreads all around you. It makes everybody's life a little bit better too. You know what? Today's secret is, if it sounds like work to drag what you want out of the invisible and into the visible, try this shortcut. See what you want as absolute fact. This will manifest what you want with the speed of light. The second you ask, it is fact in the universal spiritual field, and that field is all that exists. When you conceive something in your mind, know that it is a fact, and that there can be no question about its manifestation. If that's all about a positive mental attitude. That's all you need to have to be successful in this world, and that's all you want to be. Now, you know what today is? Sure you do. It is Thursday, and it's February the 25th, and it is somebody's birthday. And we've got some great birthdays for you today. Here's somebody who was born in 1894, died in 1969, a mystic and spiritual master who believed in the unifying power of love. Happy birthday, Mayor Baba. And here's somebody we all know. Boy, what a great guy, and I miss him too. He was born in 1937, TV reporter and host of CBS's Face the Nation. He's now retired. Happy birthday, Bob Schieffer. And here's somebody we all know. 1943 was when he was born. He died in 2001. He was the lead guitarist for the Beatles. Happy birthday, George Harrison. And then finally, somebody who I watch every Sunday night. She was born in 1966, an actress, married David Duchovny after a 9-week courtship. She stars in Madam Secretary. Happy birthday, Tia Leone. Yeah, and she's doing a good job. I love watching that show. I hope you do too. Well, what do you think happened today, February the 25th, in history? Well, I can tell you in 1925, Glacier Bay National Monument, now Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve, was established in Alaska. And on this date in 1928, Charles Jenkins Laboratories of Washington, D.C. becomes the first holder of a television license from the Federal Radio Commission. And then finally, what do you think happened February 25th, 1951? Well, the first Pan American Games are held in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Well, you know what? The quote for today comes from Goethe, and he says, "To be loved for what one is the greatest exception. The great majority love in others only what they lend him, their own selves, their version of him." Now, That's profound, I think. Well, you know what? It's time for us to lighten things up a little bit. Let's talk about interesting but useless facts. We've got a number of them, so let's go ahead and get some of those out of here. You know, it would take 27,000 spiders, each spinning a single web, to produce a pound of web. Man, think about that. That's awesome. How about this? The only member of the British House of Commons who is not allowed to speak is the man called the Speaker of the House. Go figure. Leave it to the Brits, right? You know, sometimes I think the Speaker of the House in Washington, D.C., I wish they couldn't speak. You know, according to the United States Department of Agriculture, the best time to spray household insects is 4 p.m. Insects are most vulnerable at this time. It's just like it's better to water your plants in the early mornings or the evenings. Give that some thought. Or, of course, if you live in California, you better just keep that water spout dry. You know, the whirling cloud, a flat cloud, hovering over the peak of an extinct volcano, Mount Jirunai in Indonesia, affected by hot air rising from the crater, spins swiftly around and around and around. It's sort of like a funnel. If you think about it, it's amazing if you think about those things. Well, let me leave you with this one. No evidence of man's evolutionary ancestors has so far been found in either North or South America. Fossils and other remains suggest that the first Americans crossed the Bering Straits, which at the time was dry land, by the way, from Asia between 20,000 and 40,000 years ago. Well, give that some thought. Keep thinking about it. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. And you know what? The first one comes from Kenneth San Juan from Ames, Iowa. He's asking about an adjusted home sale price, and I'm going to answer his question right after these few words. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, we're coming down to the wire. Time for me to answer your emails. I just want to remind you that we do our best to give you a comprehensive answer to your questions, but sometimes the information you send us is just a bit sketchy. So we always encourage you to contact a licensed professional. You know, they're generally going to always save you more money than they cost you, and they're going to give you peace of mind, let you sleep at night. One of their conditions of their licensing is that they maintain errors and omissions insurance. By the way, that's the same thing as malpractice insurance, but it does mean that if they give you bad information, they pay the piper, not you. Just keep that in mind. You know, you don't have to worry about the doorbell ringing or somebody knocking on the door or, you know, a registered letter coming. You're covered. That's why you use a licensed professional. Well, my first email comes from Kenneth San Juan from Ames, Iowa. He's asking about adjusted home sales price and writes, before closing on the purchase of a home, we found some defects that the seller promised to make good. Rather than delay the sale to fix them or change the sales price, he sent me a check for $7,000 after the sale. Is this taxable to me? He wants to know. So here's the deal. The payment to you is an adjustment to the sales price, so it's not going to be taxable to you, but it reduces your cost basis in the home. That's its cost to you for tax purposes when computing gain or loss on its future sale. Now, any amounts that you then spend to improve the home by fixing the defects will increase your basis in that home. Let me give you an example. If you bought the home for $200,000, the $7,000 payment to you reduces your basis in that home to $193,000. That's the $200,000 minus 7, right? Now, if you spend $6,500 of the $7,000 on fixing the defects, your cost basis in it will increase to $199,500. Yeah, that's adding the $6,500 to the $193,000. And that's exactly how that works. But make sure you keep records documenting what actually occurred, because, you know, I can guarantee you the IRS is going to question you. Well, next email comes from Michaela Tevis from Torrington, Connecticut, asking about a reasonable salary, and writes, can I avoid paying myself a reasonable salary that corporations must pay their owners if I set my business up as a partnership? Well, Michaela, it's not the owners of a corporation who must take reasonable salaries. It's the owner employees, those who actually work for the corporation. The owners of a private corporation are likely to work for it, but any who don't will receive only dividends and not salaries. Now, partnerships are a little different. Partners don't receive salaries even if they work for the business. They receive draws, which can be set at zero. Now, general partners are subject to self-employment tax, which is the equivalent of Social Security and Medicare for self-employed individuals, regardless of whether they participate in that business activity or not. So keep that in mind. Next email comes from Gavin Thomas from Downey, California, asking about an inheritance from abroad, and writes, my wife expects to receive a large inheritance from a relative in a foreign country. Does the IRS have any special tax rules that apply to inheritances from abroad? Well, you know what, Gavin? An inheritance received from abroad is tax-free to the recipient, just as any other inheritance would be. However, reporting requirements apply to certain bequests, gifts, and trust distributions from abroad. Now, your wife may be required to file Form 3520. That's the annual return to report transactions with foreign trusts and receipt of certain foreign gifts. Or might have to file Form 3520-A, which is an annual information return of foreign trusts with a U.S. owner. Now, the penalties for failing to do this can really be steep, and criminal penalties may even apply here. So check with a tax professional before you go out there and you do anything more with that. Now, finally, my last email comes from Jonathan Torres from Sheridan, Colorado, asking about IRA contributions, and says, if I retire at the end of January, this is next year, will I be able to make a deductible IRA contribution for next year? Well, you know what? The answer to the question is yes. The IRA contribution limit is going to be $5,000. Actually, it's going to be $6,000 if you're 50 years old or older for both traditional and Roth IRAs. So keep that in mind. Having earned income next year can enable you to contribute as much of that limit or amount that you earn. You're not, whichever is going to be less to the IRA. If you earn income only in January, you're unlikely to reach any of the income limits that restrict high earners from making IRA contributions. But check with the details and other eligibility requirements in IRS publication 590. That's Individual Retirement Arrangements with the IRAs. And other than that, I want to encourage you to go out and get our app. Please do that. It's absolutely free. There's no charge. If you go to the Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live, download it. It's free. Or you can, if you have an Android or Windows product, just go to googleplay.com and do the same search, Robert Cardoza Live, and it's, again, download it. It's absolutely free. If we're broadcasting live like we are now, you'll see a little flag there that says we're live. You can even chat with us during the show if you want to. Or if you just want to listen to archive shows, you can do that. They're all listed right there. There's a little information box that's there. You can press on that, and it'll tell you what the show for that day is all about.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.